something else I want to mention is the name of Jonathan's speech is 20 Facts About Health and Fitness. It's 7 to 9 minutes.
Alright, if you look closely on here, there's a text from Ohan. That's just a thing that's on my computer. It's not part of my speech. He texts me all the time. I can't get him to stop. So this is 20 facts about health and fitness that you may not know. This is all going to go very fast. It's going to be like speed dating for fitness facts. We're going to start off with a bonus fact. That is my gym. Official fact number 1, the dumbbell. The dumbbell is termed the dumbbell because in the 17th century, there's this piece of equipment. It's a rope attached to like a pulley system, and people used to pull it up and down like this, and that's how they used to exercise. It looked like you were ringing a bell. Sometime in the 17th century, it's lost to knowledge. That thing became this thing. Dumb, which is the first part of dumbbell, means silent, or an offensive term for somebody who is mute. So what that equipment was a mute bell, a bell that wouldn't ring. So the dumbbell is both inaccurately named and also offensive. We lose fat through our breath. Let's break it down. So when you're doing some work or whatever, your body needs just a little bit more energy. Your body goes in and grabs some fat, takes it out, brings it into our cells. Inside of the cell, there's a reaction. We got energy, yay. But that stuff doesn't just disappear, right? There's a whole bunch of extra stuff that's left over, and most of that stuff is carbon dioxide. And they take that carbon dioxide, bring it into the bloodstream, it goes up into your lungs, and we breathe it out. And we don't normally think about carbon dioxide as having weight, but it absolutely does have weight. And if you're doing nothing much at all, you will breathe about 22,000 times per day, which is about 2 pounds of carbon dioxide. Number 3, sticking with our gases, our body is at all times at least 90% oxygen saturated. So at the most times, while we're all standing here right now, we're all about 98 to 99% oxygen saturated. But at the end of your workout, when you're breathing just real hard, the reason you're breathing really hard, yes, you need oxygen, but the main thing is to get that carbon dioxide out. So we're gonna do something together. We're gonna take a breath in. Hold it. Take another breath in. Hold it. Another breath in. Breathe out. Yeah, exactly. So what that is, and the reason that it's a relaxed to breathe out is because we have a carbon dioxide intolerance inside of our lungs. And breathing in isn't going to release that. It's the breathing out that is. So even though obviously oxygen is important, don't not breathe, the carbon dioxide becomes the thing that is the most important in the moment. Fact number 4, the nodes of Ranvier. So Ron has some nodes named after him, which is really cool. This is basically the fact, if you ever looked into biology at all, biology is filled with just like really boring words. And so the fact that somebody got the nodes of Ranvier through the naming committee, I just think is awesome. It's a connection in your neurological system. Okay, number 5, our muscles pump more blood than our hearts do. So when the blood comes up into our hearts and it gets pumped through and into our veins and into our cells, by the time it gets there, it's only about 5 to 7%. So how does it get back to your heart? The only way it gets back to your heart is through movement. So when your muscle contracts, it squeezes that blood up the line just a little bit more, and it contracts again, and it squeezes it up the line, and keeps squeezing it up the line until it eventually gets to your heart. And that's why movement is so important, or at least one of the reasons why movement is so important, because if we're sitting all the time, then that blood gets pooled. You ever heard of blood pool? It gets pooled in your legs, and I see everybody moving their legs now. Good work. But if you're not moving, then that blood is not circulating back through your body, and you are not getting enough nutrients and things like that are coming full circulation. All right, facts 6 through 13. Terms you should know. I see this a lot in gyms. People talking about all sorts of terms, they don't know what they're talking about. So today we're gonna have a definitive list of these terms. What does it mean to be swole? It's like really big, but not super defined. What does it mean to be jacked? It's like really big, but more defined. What does it mean to be ripped? It's like a little bit smaller down, but really defined. Toned, we got the smallest, but pretty defined. Now we get to shred, and it starts to get a little complicated. Because shred can be any one of these things. Shred is gonna be the amount of body fat you have, right? And then yoked, this one catches everybody up. Yoked is like a real big upper body. Like yoke is the thing they used to put on the oxes and then pull them around. It's a big upper body. Cut and chiseled. I put those on there to throw you off. They don't mean anything. All right, number 15, sugar gets digested directly from our mouths, or it can get digested directly from our mouths. So if you're eating Pixie Sticks, because that's what you do, then you have enzymes within your mouth that break down that sugar directly in your mouth, and it actually can get pulled in through your mouth into your bloodstream and go directly into that bloodstream. Number 16, our digestive system activates as soon as you see food. So if we're at post-toast afterwards and Alan gets some French fries, and then we pull those French fries out and he says, everybody come on in and get these French fries, and nobody gets them right away, that's because as soon as you look at it, that digestive system starts. But then it's taking that time, doing its thing, and then you see about 5 minutes later, everyone starts, oh, man, go get one of these guys. That's the same reason I put cookies on the last slide and donuts on this slide. By the end of the speech, we're all gonna be going back and getting some nice tasty treats. Okay, number 17, our body is crisscrossed with connective tissue called fascia. So when people say everything is connected, they're talking about fascia. Well, they're talking about a lot of things, but they often are talking about fascia. If, say, you injure your left knee, there's a fascial link of muscle or of connective tissue that connects this knee to this shoulder. So a few weeks later, a few days later, if you start feeling some tension in that shoulder, it's because the link down here got all crumpled up and it pulled on that fascial chain that goes all the way across. And number 18, still having to do with fascia, muscles don't get tight, fascia does. Now this is a kind of distinction that doesn't really matter if you're just stretching, but if you ever do a stretch where you're pulling yourself backwards like this, and then you pull that toe back towards you, and you feel the stretch intensify back there, that doesn't make any sense if muscles are the only thing that you're stretching. But you have a link of fascia that comes all the way from the bottom of that foot, it comes back, and then it attaches right on top of your eyebrows right there. So if you stretch any point of that link, then you're gonna stretch all of that chain. Number 18, it doesn't really matter because it's all in your head anyway. If you go to, say, the dentist and they put you over or they put you under because you need surgery, when you come in, you have a mobility restriction right there. As soon as he puts you under, he'll be able to move your shoulder to wherever he wants to. Because your brain is the real thing that's controlling that mobility. But then as soon as you wake up, that mobility is going to be restricted once more. And number 20, the final fact, we lose speed first, then strength, then endurance. The tendency as we age is to not train speed as we get older, but it's important to train that because it goes first and it's hard to recover from that. That has been 20 facts about fitness and or health that you might not have known about. Back to you, Toastmaster.